So, in regards to aiming high because you want to do a lot, uh, that's not necessarily the right approach. And the reason why is because it's in essence, trying to be more merciful than Hashem. Trying to, although again, somebody could want to do a lot of good, but they have to understand that Hashem also wants everybody to do a lot of good, but it doesn't mean that he's going to allow everybody to do a lot of good. A person has to earn the right to do it, and it works in a system. So what's the system? The system is that the Rambam explains that none of the things that a person gets in this world are a reward. They're simply tools to do more of what he's already doing, or what she's already doing. So if a person is already doing good, then Hashem will give him more opportunities to do good. If a person is doing bad, Hashem will give him more opportunities to do bad. That's why this is based on a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot that says mitzvah goeret mitzvah, and avera goeret avera. That a mitzvah leads to another mitzvah, and another mitzvah leads to another. A sin leads to another sin, and also another Mishnah that says schar mitzvah mitzvah, schar avera avera. The reward for a mitzvah is another mitzvah, and the punishment for a sin is another sin. So what do all these things mean? So Hashem works in such a way, the Rambam explains, that if a person does something good, let's say a certain person makes a simple blessing on saying thank you to Hashem that you made, give me this apple. Okay? Now, this may not seem like a big deal, but in the real world of Hashem, all of the good that's in the material world that ever existed from the beginning of the world until the end of the world is not enough to reward a person for that simple blessing. So therefore, since Hashem cannot reward a person for that blessing, or thereby for nothing else that he's doing good in this world, with something material in this world, so the only real thing that he can give him that would, until he gets to the next world, is by giving him an opportunity to do another mitzvah. What mitzvah would he give him? A mitzvah that's connected to it. So if he ate an apple and he did a blessing, so therefore Hashem will give him another opportunity to eat something else and do another blessing. And if a person, let's say, gets married, Hashem will give him a marriage that's a blessed marriage, that he'll be able to have all types of fruits that come from that marriage, whether it's tarat mishpacha, or it's having children, or it's having raising a kosher Jewish home, shlom bayit, and there's many other mitzvot, mitzvat ona'ah, the intimacy with the wife. There are many mitzvot that a person can do through the marriage, that Hashem sees that a person got married, he's doing a mitzvah, I'll give him the opportunity to do these other mitzvot. If a person, for example, gives money, shows Hashem that, listen, all I have is, I made $500 this week, and I want to give Maaseh or Chomesh, I want to give $50 or $100, 10% or 20% of my income for the sake of the Torah. Now, of course, this is an extraordinary mitzvah, and much bigger than saying, let's say, a blessing on an apple, because this mitzvah of investing in the Torah yields many, many fruits. Can help people do tshuva, can help people learn Torah, and so on. So there's, needless to say, there's no way for Hashem to reward this person in doing in this world with something material for doing such a mitzvah. So what Hashem would typically do is give this person an opportunity to by giving him more money in order for him to do this mitzvah again. So he gave $500. He'll give him another $500 to see what he does with that. And sometimes he'll give him $5,000. Sometimes he'll give him $50,000. And sometimes I'll give him $5 million to see if he continues doing this mitzvah. As long as he continues doing this mitzvah, Hashem will continue giving him. So by the same token, Hashem will sometimes test a person to say, wait, are you giving me just because I'm giving you, or are you giving me because you really want to do this mitzvah? How could a person show it? By continuing to give even when he doesn't have as much. So for example, a person gave, when he had $500, he gave, let's say, $100. gave 20%. So Hashem gave him, let's say, $5,000. Did he give 1,000? Okay, give him 1,000. So Hashem gave him 10,000. He gave 2,000 off of that. Okay, gives him 100,000. He gives 20,000 off of that. Hashem, gives him 500,000. He gives 100,000 off of that. Okay, now let's test them. How do we test them? Take away everything. Let's see. Now you're back to $500. Are you still going to give the $100? Now, if a person stops giving, that really shows that he didn't really want to give because he likes the mitzvah itself, but rather because he had to give. Initially, he gave because he wanted to give, but that passion went away because it was blinded by success. So Hashem will test a person with the mitzvot, not only by giving him more, but also by sometimes taking away, to see whether that person still sticks to that mitzvah. So rather than a person asking for Hashem to give him, $376 million in some lotto, a person should be praying for Hashem to give him the opportunity to be the best vessel that he can be to do this mitzvah. And how could he ask him, aside from praying for it, but also by already doing it, doing whatever he can with whatever he has. So, if you ask me, should your person spend $2 on a lotto ticket, or should he give that for tzedakah? I would say give that for tzedakah. Why? Because with the $2, a person is in essence trying to fast forward what Hashem can give him anyway, but he may not. On the other hand, with the $2, he has a guaranteed mitzvah. He's guaranteed mitzvah already. He shows Hashem already that he has a likings to his mitzvot. And if Hashem wants to give the person $376 million, then he would give it to him. He doesn't need a lotto ticket to do it. He doesn't need a contract to do it. He doesn't need anything to do it. He can just give it to him in a million different ways, and there's no limitation. And that's one of the things that people make a mistake on, in a sense that they think that they need to help Hashem by doing certain things, and they call it ishtadlut. Ishtadlut is based on the amount of emunah that a person has. We have a whole series of lectures about ishtadlut, bitachon, and so on. But a person should know that the only responsibility that you have and what you're measured by is your effort, not your success. Meaning, you have to look at things from the way of, what can I do the most with whatever I have, because that's all I'm being judged on. I'm not being judged on my success, because the success is determined by Hashem, which means that if I have $10,000 and I give, let's say, $1,000 or $2,000 off that $10,000, because that's 10 or 20% depending on the person. Hashem is valuing that $1,000 or $2,000 that I'm giving the same way as if I gave, 200 million out of a billion, because that's the most I can give. That's the 10 or 20%. What happens out of that $1,000 or $2,000 could even be greater than the $200 million if Hashem decides for it to be that way, because the success is determined by Him, not by us. And the mistake that people make a lot of times is that they think that they need to have a lot in order to do a lot. And if they can't do a lot, might as well not do much or not do anything at all. And that's a very big mistake, because that's in essence showing Hashem that we don't really like the mitzvot. We like to do big things because we want to change the world. And that, doesn't come usually from a pure place. There is some dust of arrogance in there. There's a dust of control. There's a lot of different things that it's not as pure as it sounds. To show Hashem that we really like His mitzvot, we have to do them under all conditions, regardless of what He gives us. And if a person shows Hashem that he's going to do the mitzvot that he wants to do no matter what, then he's earning himself the opportunity for Hashem to say, you know what? Look, he's been doing it under tough conditions. Let me help him do it under easier conditions, and he earns that opportunity. He earns that opportunity. But to be somebody that is going to change the world of Torah it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with merit. There are many people out there with billions of dollars, but and then some of them actually do donate millions and millions of dollars, but they don't earn themselves anywhere near as much merit as someone that, let's say, donates $1,000 to our organization. Why? Because they'll donate $100, $100 million to, I don't know, build some buildings and to do a lot of different things, but not many people are actually going to learn Torah and do tshuva as a result of it. Perhaps they'll have parties, perhaps they'll have a lot of sins, but they're not going to have a lot of real Torah in there. Whereas a person that invests $1,000 with us, they know that that's going to help somebody do tshuva or to help somebody learn Torah. It's going to help somebody for a real reason. And that person gets the full reward for that investment, whereas in other places they don't always do. So again, there are obviously other good places also, but the point being is that it has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with the merit. The guy with the $1,000 had more merit than the guy with the $200 million. That's really what it has to do. Now, to find a guy that has merit and also $200 million is nearly impossible. It does exist, I'm assuming, in the world, but it's nearly impossible. And if a person looks at things the right way, they would simply seek to earn that merit rather than earn that money. Because if I earn the merit, then Hashem will make my $1,000 work as good or better than $200 million. And if he decides to also give me $200 million, then I'll also earn the merit with that too. But not focus so much on the larger amount of money, but rather on the larger amount of sacrifice that's necessary at the current time with whatever tools I have. If all I have is a hammer, then that's what I have. If all I have is $1, then that's what I have. If all I have is $1 million, then that's what I have. And not look at things from perspective of quantity rather than look at things from quality.